What's up, guys? Today we will look at what would happen if Tanjiro was given Ares Rewind quirk. This video idea was actually given to me by one of you, and I am incredibly grateful to you all for your comments. It makes me extremely happy to see any interaction from my fans. Anyway, let's get right into the video. So, the story all starts with Tanjiro being born a son of a powerful nobleman with lots of resources and power that spreads across the land. It's it's a boy, one of the many servants assisting with the pregnancy stutters. Is it is it really? Yes, finally, a male hair. Yazuko, Tanjiro's father, shouts out. He grabs his wife's hand, shouting with joy. Yazuko rushes to his office to find the syringe that he keeps placed in his safe. What are you doing, Yazuko? His wife asks. It's best we start now and get this boy to be a powerful man, just like his father. The doctor assisting looks at Yazuko's hand. Sir, what are you doing? Put that away. Suddenly, the doctor's head explodes, splattering blood all over the room. Yazuko blows the smoke from his pistol as he makes his way over, grabbing the baby. Yazuko, stop! His wife yells pleadingly. Yazuko slams the syringe into baby Tanjiro and hastily sets him back down. Now he will have power, just like his father. Tanjiro's mother looked really confused, but then Tanjiro started to glow white. What? What is going on, Yazuko? Suddenly, Tanjiro's mom starts to de-age rapidly, becoming a young woman and then a measly high schooler. Yazuko stares at disbelief. Help me, she yells, now talking in a baby voice, and then poof, Tanjiro's mother is completely gone. Yazuko looks at his servants, who just witnessed everything, and immediately uses his flame quirk to completely destroy all the witnesses, leaving nothing but ashes remaining. Yazuko looks at Tanjiro's little body and decides to pick him up. He leads the boy out of the house that is now on fire completely and decides that he needs to find another place to live immediately so he doesn't attract any attention whatsoever from the authorities. He decides to buy a little cottage in the middle of the forest to where there's local legends that many demons are there. But he thinks that nothing will come of this, as Tanjiro and him are both powerful, and no one could really ever hurt them. So Tanjiro talks to the villager who owns the place. Well, obviously Tanjiro can't talk to him, but Tanjiro's father does, and they decide that they will buy it for a measly 100,000 yen. Whenever they buy the cottage, they live there happily for a few years, but this is before the demons figure out how powerful the people who live in the shack really are, and there is something that needs to be dealt with immediately. So, one night, a demon comes into the house, just trying to explore and see who really lives there. So, he enters Tanjiro's room, as Tanjiro sits alone in the crib, just laying there silently. He tries to examine the boy, but then the boy turns white. The demon is immediately affected by this, noticing that his powers are beginning to weaken. But then, suddenly, a man comes behind him and yells, "Engulf!" And flames cover the demon, burning him completely on fire. Tanjiro's father looks at the demon, now flapping around on the floor burning. "Who are you? And what business do you have with my son?" Yazuko asks. The demon yells, "Ugh! Put this fire off me! Put this fire off me!" But the fire does not stop, and Yazuko keeps shooting more flames at him to really try to hammer the message that you do not mess with the Tanjiro family. And then the demon eventually stands up, even while being engulfed in the flames. "You fool! Don't you know? Fire can't kill demons." He charges at Yazuko, trying to kill him with his claws, slicing rapidly. But then Yazuko pulls out his fire blade and slices the demon's head off cleanly, leaving nothing of his body left detached. The demon looks up at Yazuko, noticing he's been killed. But, ow. The demon begins to disappear, while Yazuko goes and checks on little Tanjiro. Uh, are you okay, Tanjiro? Tanjiro looks at his father, not knowing what to say, because he doesn't have many words to express himself. So all he says is, Dad, Dad, Dad. Yazuko begins to cry, being so happy that the only thing he has left was left unscathed from the demon despite that brutal attack. But that night, everything will change. Suddenly, Yazuko hears a huge boom in the living room and rushes out to check it. He sees a man with pink hair and covered in tattoos into the doorway. Yakuza looks at him and says, Are you a demon too? Yakuza simply smiles, walking towards him. Yakuza sees the number 3 on his body and questions him. What does that mean? What does that mean? Yakuza looks at Yakuza. This means that you are going to die. Yakuza charges at Yakuza immediately, grabbing his head and slamming him into a wall, immediately breaking all the bones in Yakuza's back. Yakuza tries to fight back and tries to light him on fire, but the flames do nothing to Yakuza. Yakuza proceeds to pick Tanjiro up while he's fighting Yakuza, and then taunts Yakuza saying, Look, I have your kid, and what are you going to do about it? Yakuza can no longer use flames because he believes it will hurt Tanjiro. So he pulls out his sword and tries to do the same thing to Yakuza that he did to the lower demon. But whenever he charges at Yakuza, Yakuza grabs the sword and slams it towards the floor, and then punches Yakuza in the face as hard as he can, sending him flying against the wall, breaking every single facial bone that Yakuza has. Tanjiro begins to cry, noticing the pain and the torture that his father is going to, but Yakuza proceeds to walk towards Yakuza despite that. Yakuza grabs his head and looks at him and smiles slowly and says, You are weak. And then he rips Yakuza's head straight from off his body. Tanjiro sees this whole thing and begins to scream out in pain and tears because despite being a little baby, he knows that his father, the man, the only thing in his life that he ever knew to love, was just murdered right in front of him. Yakuza begins to laugh and says, What are you doing, boy? Why don't you shut up? He proceeds to lift the boy up, thinking about killing him. But then a voice message says, Stop! That boy can be very useful to us. So he decides not to. Right whenever Yakuza gets this message, Tanjiro once again starts to become white. Once Yakuza realizes it's making him weaker, he immediately sets him down and waits for the glowing to stop. He proceeds to get Tanjiro and bring him to the headquarters where the Demon King himself, Muzan, awaits. He says, Muzan, I got the boy. What shall we do with him? Muzan smiles solemnly. Give him here. I need to perform a few tests before we really decide how useful this boy will be. Over the next few nights, Tanjiro would spend them in a cage, much like a dog, with bare minimum food and bare minimum water, just testing the abilities of his power with mice who are dead to see if the dead mice can be brought to life with Tanjiro's power. And he would also see if it could reverse the effects of injuries, which it could. Muzan began to treat Tanjiro like absolute filth and used him solely for his power and treated him much like humans treat dogs, only without not even the respect of someone they loved in Tanjiro. Tanjiro's life would be horrible from here on out until Tanjiro finally became 16 and could begin to think of a plan to devise to get out of this horrible situation. And then whenever Tanjiro finally saw that he had a chance to escape, he acted. But we will have to find out how his plan went on part 2 of What If Tanjiro Had Aries Quirk. So, I hope you guys all enjoyed. I tried not to script this video, and I'm not very good at it anymore, sadly. I took a long break, but I'll definitely get better. I'm sorry that I took a long break, but my videos are just gonna keep getting better. I'm so thankful to all you guys for sticking with me. I'm very, very thankful to the commenter who suggested this video. Thank you guys. I appreciate you all. If you like this video, please like and please comment. I love it when you guys do. And have an amazing rest of your day. Goodbye, guys. Peace out.